Hello, it is me, Jake, here to talk about Dragon Heist again. So, today's topic of conversation is Gralhund Villa, which I as a player actually went through 2 weeks ago, which is fun. Very interesting encounters in there, bit chaotic, which is kind of the point. There's a whole lot of chaos going on with this section, and this is where Dragon Heist can feel like there is so much happening that you don't know what the heck to manage. I'm here to break some of it down for you. I'm not here to go over each and every individual room and what it means, how to run every small layer of it. I'm just going to simply talk about what's where, kind of, what to do, and I don't know, some extra stuff that you could throw in there if you felt like it. So, one thing that I think I need you to note, that you need to know even, is it's real hard to get in. Right? The DCs that it presents to like open the gate, it needs a DC 25 strength check or a DC 20 dexterity check with Thieves' Tools. Apparently, this module does not want you to open the gate. I don't know why, because the walls are just easier to scale over, and the party is likely going to think gate before climbing over the walls, at least from my experience, which is what our party tried to do, and the DM was like, this DC's bullshit. Sure, you got like 17, right, on your Thieves' Tools? And I'm like, yeah, just open it. And I'm like, hey, that makes more sense, honestly. A DC 25 thing. So that's one of the first things. It does give the party some leeway in terms of getting in for like, you know, there's people outside looking. There's some hustle bustle on the streets, if you will. And the party can use that as cover, kind of. Depends on how much they stick out. My party stuck out pretty bad, but we went in anyway, and it was fine, because people didn't really know what we were doing, and most of the party looked noble enough, so we were Gucci. However, if your party is a bunch of like regular adventurers looking folk, you know, like how all the modules present them and what people think that they should look like, then people are going to see you and point it out. A bunch of adventurers just freaking vaulted the wall of a manor. What the heck's with that? And they're going to go tell the City Watch. So yeah, using the streets as kind of cover is good. Or you can allow the party to wait around until they think there's an optimal enough point to just and they're in. Something else that's important to note is that if someone casts a big boom spell like Thunderwave, I did an entire video about all those spells actually, which you can check out if you'd like. All of those spells that I talk about, unless specified that they don't make big booms, make big booms, and when spells make big booms, people get suspicious and tell the City Watch, which sends a mage and 6 veterans, and they arrive in an average of like 5 to 10 minutes. Which is cool. I like that. So they basically have a time limit the moment that they've created a big boom. So no one's going to really think to go in the coach house, because there's nothing really that would pertain to anything being in there. But they might just pick a random door, open it, and it's like, oh, it's the coach house. And weirdly, the horse is outfitted with horseshoes of speed. That's cool. You can give your party those. Not sure whether they'd find a use for it until later in the game, but they might want to buy a mount, who knows. So, I'm going to talk about Urstul Floxx in here. Urstel's goal is to run and capture Lord Gralhund, who's the short, closeted gay man, and trade him for the Stone of Galore. Kind of like a, hey, I'll kill him if you don't give it me. However, if the party get to him before he manages to do that, he's running. And he only has 50 hit points left out of his like 80, I think. And his poisoned weapons, which would normally be dealing like 7d6 extra poison damage a hit, are not poisoned. So his CR is greatly reduced, according to this, which makes sense. It's pretty interesting. Our party had a couple of tricks up our sleeve, but none of them worked until we just damaged the shit out of him and he died. And I think it was pretty interesting that the guy who would have had the stone had fled, and our party got in a bit of a dead end before eventually we started investigating around for the nimble right stuff. I really liked that section. And even though, like, I don't memorize this whole thing, I was playing in this and I genuinely thought Urstul had the stone, so I was real determined to get that thing, until he didn't. Lord Gralhund knows some stuff, apparently. Oh, that's interesting. He has some extra information that the party might want, but at the same time the party might not be too interested in talking to him. If there's still that fight going on in the corridor, they might want to get involved in that. if they feel like once they've got the artifact or once they've not found what they're looking for, they're just going to want to leave immediately. I found that people don't normally find Lord Gralhund, at least from what I've seen. Something cool to note as well that it actually talks about near the start of this section is that you know, Lady Gralhund has different conditions for her, like, wanting the stone, depending on the villain, which each are interesting. And I think that they're pretty cool, honestly. So in our game, the DM has chosen the Castellantas as his villain, which makes sense. One of our party members, the only one with a very clear and set objective, I mean, mine does have one as well, but it's like an objective for when he hits like level 14, 15, is kill demons and devils and stuff like that. So he was like, I mean, there's the Castellantas, so there you go. Made a lot of sense, and we're enjoying the hell out of it. So yeah, I think that if you want to add anything interesting to this, go ahead. There's plenty of other components that could happen here. In one of the rooms, maybe one of the Zhentarim is in fact a Harper in disguise that saw a bit of chaos, snuck in, and are now monitoring it all and just kind of keeping an eye on everything. Maybe the Zhentarim have like a hostage in another room that they're using as a bargaining chip, or intend to use. Perhaps if Lady Gralhund has a kid, she might, I don't know, they have her kid hostage or something, and this can create another interesting dynamic where she's like, I'd love to talk right now, but there's something more important. Son's in the other room, he might be dead, get him. Just stuff like that. I think that could ramp up the tension even more than it already is. I don't think you need to do too much work in this, and honestly I don't have as much advice. I'm just kind of here to give you a couple rundowns on what I think about some stuff. Because the Gralhund Villa is a great section, honestly. I've ran it once, and I've almost ran it once before the party, weirdly, did the other thing where they just let the City Watch handle it, and they don't get the information as much. So yeah, I've ran through this. It was a bit chaotic. One of my party members was an Aarakocra, so that threw a lot of the entire thing out the window, because they just flew up and yeah, then they got to the balcony. Bit of a counterintuitive design if people can just go up there like that. My character actually had the ability to do that as well. He had Misty Step, could have Misty Stepped up if he wanted, but I was like, nah, we'll go through the dungeon, that's fun. Or it's a dungeon, it's a mana dungeon where it's chaos. For some reason, if you found this video helpful, like it, and also subscribe. Waterdeep's our strongest series going, and it's pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure why. my advice is just, that's cool, maybe do that, I don't know. If you leave a comment, we can talk about stuff in the comments, that'd be awesome. And we also have a Discord you can join in the description. It's getting pretty frequent. We have a lot of people who are talking in there constantly, so join a community of people. And yeah, bye. They're like a bunch of Gralhund Villa, Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Take 1, turnover. Cut. Are you kidding me? I'm not having incompetence on my show. Get out.
No.
Director, did you hear what she just said to me? Get her out. I need my clap.